Good day. So today we're going to discuss about the continuation about the ethics, law, and e-commerce. So in my part, I'm going to discuss the cyber squatting and brand jacking and the other topics as well. So what do we mean by cyber squatting and brand jacking? So cyber squatting and brand jacking, it means the both forms of the online identity theft where someone is registers a domain name similar to a popular brand with the intent to profit from it, or it tarnish from the brand's reputation, so both of them are illegal and can lead them to legal action from the affected brands. So what is cyber piracy? So cyber piracy, it is registering domain names similar or identical to the trademarks others to the extort of profits from the legitimate holders. So what do we mean by this? The cyber piracy, it is an unauthorized reproduction or distribution of the digital content, wherein this undermines the rights of the content creators that can lead to financial losses. It often occurs through an illegal downloading or sharing of the copyrighted material on the e-commerce platform, and copyright enforcement and intellectual property and protection online. So as we can see in our screen, we have the example case of the cyber squatting and the cyber piracy. So now what is meta tagging? Meta tagging, it is using trademark words in a site's meta tags. What does this mean? So meta tagging, it involves adding descriptive metadata to digital content to improve its searchability and also categorization. It is commonly used in the e-commerce to optimize the product pages for the search engines and to enhance the user experience. So here's an example of the meta tagging. So next is we have the keywording. So what is keywording? Keywording, it is means of placing the trademark keywords on the web pages, either for visible or invisible. So keywording, it is the process of selecting and incorporating the relevant keywords into a digital content for crucial e-commerce for optimizing the product listings and improving the visibility in the search engines and ultimately increasing the sales. So here's an example also of the keywording. Next is we have linking. So what is linking? Linking, it is a content pages on the other sites bypassing the home page. So linking, it connects the web pages or the digital content through hyperlinks, wherein it improving the navigation, enhancing user experience, and establishing the connections between the related content. So as you can see, here's also an example of the linking. Next is we have framing. So what is framing? Framing, it is placing the content of the other sites in a frame on the infringer's site. This means that it embeds the one website content within another interface that it is commonly used for displaying external content like the product information or media. However, it can raise the concerns regarding the copyright and user experience. So next is we have the trade secret. So what is trade secret? Trade secret, it is an information that is secret that has commercial value and has been protected by its owner. Much of the value created by a firm lies into a copyrights, so the patent or even the trademarks. There is a kind of the intellectual property that has no to do with the business procedures, formulas, and methods of the manufacturer or service in the delivery. So from which the firm derives value and which is doesn't not want to share with the other is a form of a patent application or copyright application. That this type of intellectual property is referred to as the trade secret. So most famously, the example for this is the formula for the Coca-Cola, wherein it considered as a trade secret because as the manufacturing techniques for producing the General Electric jet engine for the turbine blades. So trade secrets differ from the other copyright and patent because it the protections may not be unique or novel. So the information in a firm can be considered as a trade secret if a secret is something that is others do not know that has commercial value for its owner. So the owner has taken steps to protect the secret. So the US corporations are believed that they own trillions of dollars in trade secrets. Next is we have the challenge balancing the protection of the property with the other values. So what does this mean? So challenge in the intellectual property ethics and law, it is ensure that the creators of the intellectual property can receive the benefits of their interventions and works, while also making it possible for their works and designs to be disseminated and used by the widest possible audience, with the exception of the trade secret law where the object is not to share or distribute for the common good. So the governance. The governance has to do with the social control who will control the e-commerce of what elements will be controlled. So and how will the controls be implemented? So the governance, they balancing the property protection in the e-commerce, that it means safeguarding the intellectual property, the data privacy, as well as the cybersecurity, and also prioritizing the rights and accessibility. Taxation. So what is taxation? Taxation, it is the complexity of the governance and jurisdiction more potently than taxation of the e-commerce sales. In both Europe and the United States, governments rely on the sales taxes based on the type and value of the goods sold. So in the Europe, these taxes are collected along with the entire value chain, including the final sale to the consumer, and they're called value-added taxes or the VAT. Whereas in the United States, the taxes are collected by the states and localities on final sales to consumer that are called consumption and use taxes. So in the United States, there are 50 states and 3,000 countries and 12,000 municipalities that each with unique tax rates and policies. So this may be taxable in one state that as snack food, but not taxable in the another state, such as the Wisconsin, where it is considered as a basic food consumption. So the consumption taxes are generally recognized on the regressive because they disproportionately tax poor people, for whom consumption is a larger part for their total income. Next is the insight on business. So the new rules extended EU taxation on of the e-commerce. So most of the people are happy when they discover that they don't have to pay any taxes on a purchase that they make online. However, few stop to consider the implications that this may have. Governments in the last few years have been suffering a persistent budget crunch. May countries that levy sales the taxes that have been eyeing for the loss of the revenue from the e-commerce sales, so estimated to be in the billions. So as the e-commerce established itself as a ever-increasing percentage of the retail economy, governments worldwide are putting their collective feet down on the demanding tax revenue from from all online transactions. So wherein in the EU, the tax policies are evolving to reflect in the online landscape, where the goods and the services are sold without any physical presence or for a local representative in the countries where they are purchased. Net neutrality. So the concept that internet service providers should treat all the internet traffic equally or neutrality. Neutrally. So what does it mean? This refers to the idea of the ISPs, including the cable, internet, and wireless carriers, should treat all the data on the internet in the same manner, and not discriminate or price differently by the content, protocol, platform, hardware, or application. So prior to the year of the 2015, the ISPs could discriminate against the certain users on the basis on the protocol or the amount of usage. For the instance, users of the illegal downloading sites that utilize the BitTorrent protocol were blocked or trollated back, so the internet speeds were slowed. So the users who watched large volumes of movies on Netflix or other services were occasionally unfurled back. So the wireless cell phone carriers choke of data, data speeds for a heavy users when their networks become clogged. So the large internet services like the Netflix and the YouTube, which together consume an estimated of the 50% on the internet's bandwidth in the United States, where it is encouraged to strike deals with the ISPs and pay a higher fee for ordinary business or for the home users. The next is antitrust, monopoly, and market competition in the internet era. So for the first time in the history of the internet and the e-commerce, a broad swath of the opinion makers, including the economists and politicians, regulators, civic groups, and journalists, are saying that some of the e-commerce firms have become more powerful monopolies that are restricting competition by snuffing out or buying smaller, innovative firms and engaging a restraint of the trade. So, an example of this is the Alphabet or the Google, Amazon, and Facebook in particular are in the crosshairs for the critics because that they not only dominate their markets, but they also dominate our daily lives. So these firms have been grown rapidly in the part of scooping up a smaller innovative firms, adding to their already large market share in their respective industries. So the tech giants have not helped themselves in this debate in invading the privacy on the unprecedented level. So unfailing to secure their users' personal information, it allowing their platforms to be used by the foreign powers, enabling the dissemination of a fake and misleading stories and driving small retailers out of the business. So these firms also use their financial resources to prevent legislation that might constrain them So the big technology firms are now spending more money on lobbying in the Washington DC than all other industries, with the exception of the financial services and pharmaceutical industries. Next is we have the public safety and welfare. So public safety and welfare, the governments everywhere claim to pursue the public safety, health, as well as the welfare. So this effort produced the laws governing everything from weights to and measures to the national highways to the content or the radio and television programs. Electronic Electronic media of all kinds, the telegraph, telephone, radio, and also the television, have historically been regulated by the governments seeking to develop a rational commercial telecommunications, different on to the control and content of the media. Rational commercial telecommunications environment and to control the content of the media, yet which may be critical of the government or the offensive to power groups in a society. So historically, in the United States, newspapers and print media have been beyond government controls because of the constitutional guarantees of the freedom of speech. Electronic media such as the radio and television, on the other hand, have always been a subject to content regulation because they used to publicly owned frequency, spectrum, and hence come under a variety of federal laws and regulatory agencies that primarily the FCC, so the telephones have also been regulated as a public utilities and commonly carriers with the special social burdens to provide a service as well as a access, but with no limitations on the content. Next is we have protecting children. So protecting children, the pornography, it is an immersed, successful internet business. Statistics with the respect to revenues and generated by online pornography range widely. So a sample of the million most visited sites in the world found that the 4% of the website contained pornographic material and 14% of the web searches involved sexual content. Others have estimated up to 20% of the web and mobile searches involve a pornography, based on Bulk's 2019 web report of the 2017. So the online pornography, it is estimated to generate for the 10 to $12 billion annually in the United States, and the global revenue is estimated to be $97 billion, and traditional DVD porn revenues have been fallen off by 80% as so-called tube sites or YouTube for porn. So they have rapidly expanded for the free and premium content online. So the piracy is rampant as well as the traditional video content. Revenues are more primarily derived from the premium subscription and advertising to control the web as a distribution of the pornography in the 1966. So the US Congress passed the Communications Decency Act, or the CDA. So this act means that they made a felony criminal offense to use any telecommunications device to transmit any comment, request, suggestion, proposal, image, or other communications which is obscene, lewd or lascivious, lifty, and or incident to anyone in the particular to person under 18 years of age. In the Section 502 and Telecommunication Agent Decency Act of the 1996. So it is important that our children, we should protect them because nowadays we have access on the internet and using of the different gadgets. Next is the Internet Drug Bazaar operates around the globe. So every year since the 2018, the Interpol has connected the Operation Pangaea. So the international effort involving over 150 countries to combat the sales of the illegal drugs online. So between the 2008 and the 2019, the Operation Pangaea has resulted in the shutting down of the 82,000 websites, more than 3,000 arrests, and the removal of more than 100 million doses of illegal drugs from the circulation. Despite successes such as this, however, the Internet Drug Bazaar remains a continuing public health and safety issue. So for instance, the COVID-19 pandemic has been given a rise to additional types of false medical products. So in the 13th annual Operation Pangaea in the March 2020, it resulted in a significant increase in the seizures of unauthorized unrivaled medication, as well as the antimalarial medication prolonged. So in many countries, trafficking in illegal prescription drugs now equals or exceeds on the sale of heroin, cocaine, and amphetamines. So while they properly regulated the internet, the pharmacies offer a valuable service by increasing the competition and access to treatments in the underserved regions. So the industry researchers have found that the 90% of the online pharmacies don't require a prescription, and 40% of the online pharmacies were selling dangerously synthetic opioids such as the fentanyl. So, a Google search for the drugs no prescription of the 2021, for instance, such as more than the 5.5 million results. Next is we have the careers in the e-commerce. So the companies are becoming increasingly aware that such issues can have significantly impact on your bottom line. So the jobs that specifically deal with these issues can typically be found in a company's compliance department, but awareness of these issues is also necessary for all the employees of the company. So the company operates a global online advertising exchange platform that connects the online sites that have inventory, web publishers who have space on their websites where the ads can be displayed, or also called as ad opportunities, with the buyers firms that want to advertise. Position: E-commerce Privacy Research Associate. In the compliance of department to ensure the privacy and data protection compliance while enabling the business innovation. So the position, it involves the research on privacy, domestic and international regulations and policies, and industry best practices. Your responsibilities wherein it includes here. So first, in the monitoring, digesting, and developing a written summaries of proposed and enacted legislation, regulations, court decisions, industry guidelines, trade journals, and other relevant publications in privacy, cybersecurity, and information security, and also in technology. Research federal, state, and international laws and regulations related to data security, information security, and privacy, including the laws related for the compromised data and security breach incidents. Additional whereas areas that may include laws and regulations related to an online marketing and social media, e-commerce, and technology. Researching global data protection and privacy compliance in the online advertising market, drawing on the knowledge and experience of a specific government, industry requirements, and best practices. Analyzing existing and developing products and solutions to ensure they comply with the applicable privacy and data protection laws and industry best practices. The responsibility it is also for guiding and supporting the lines of the business on legal and regulatory requirements related to the compromised data, incidents, privacy, and cybersecurity. And also reviewing the contracts and contracts with the vendor and customer firms to ensure compliance with a privacy regulations and industry best practices. Developing educational and training materials for a business client groups and other divisions of the firm. Next is what are the qualification or the skills. So the BA in the humanities, business and information systems, business marketing, or political science with the coursework in the e-commerce, statistics, business strategy, and digital marketing. So you should have the basic understanding of the privacy and privacy law in the United States and how it relates to online digital advertising. So in the interest in the international business and the data protection laws in the European Union are the Latin American and the Asia Pacific. Knowledge of the digital marketing industry, software platforms, and programmatic advertising platforms, as written and or communication skills, including a clear and concise drafting style, strong research skills. So excellent customer services and interpersonal skills. Exceptional analytic and problem solving with the ability to think strategically and provide business advice. Advanced Microsoft Office. You should know how to use the Word, the Excel, the Outlook, and the PowerPoint skills. So we have also the strong organizational skills involving the ability to manage the timelines and balance the multiple deadlines. So the last is the comfortable of the desktop and mobile technology and the active user for online or mobile applications on the different social networks. So for the last in this part is the preparing for the interview. Of course, when you're engaging in the business, of course, you should prefer for an interview and engaging this kind of business. So that's for all my part. I'm Kathleen P. Macarella from the Group 6. That's all of our report about the ethics, law, and e-commerce.